Hi everyone, welcome to World of Tanks with stewiejp. I'm Stewie and this is a replay sent to me by one of the MI6 members, BadCo, and he's platooning with Outcast. BadCo and Outcast are always great for a platoon in the MI6 clan. Always active in strongholds, skirmishes, clan wars, general platooning and good times, and in this game they've taken out the trusty old IS-7s. Now the IS-7's probably one of the most popular tanks at tier 10 clan wars. It's a tank I don't have yet. I've had it unlocked for a while. I've been waiting for it to come on sale, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Now on the map, this is, what's it called? Stalingrad. Normally the heavy tanks will go up this line, but in this replay, Outcast and BadCo are both going to have a look down the medium line. I can understand why. They're looking at the enemy side and they're probably seeing all those medium tanks which would quite often dominate the 8-9 line. And so they're going to go there to try and counter that and try and hold that medium push from the 8-9 line. Now you might not have known this, but the IS-7's also a four-wheel drive. Have a look at that, straight over the top, no stuffing around there. Now they're finding themselves on this corner of this wrecked building, and unlucky with the first shot of the game not to hit that AMX 1390, which would have been easy damage, and also, but he was moving pretty quick. Takes a shot from with the Ferdinand, puts one into the STA. Now BadCo and Outcast are both playing these IS-7s. Like I said, I've never played one. I've played one on the test server ages ago, but I've never really owned one. Now their Batchat's going for a bit of a hero run in the centre of the map, and it does start a bit slowly this game. They're just establishing where all the enemy tanks are, and I'm hoping that RHM and Tortoise are not AFK back at the base, because that Batchat's just gonna tear them up. They haven't done much early on. They've put a bit of damage into these tanks on the 8-9 line, but that 1390 is lighting up not only the two IS-7s but probably also that KV4. T54 lightweight, and maybe the ISU at the back, but I doubt it. Now they're down by two tanks already, and they've made the decision they're going to go for it now. They've got to get rid of this 1390 who's lighting them all up, put all those snipers at the back. I look behind the building, he's not there anymore, he's run away. He's actually ran down the water line, probably trying to look for artillery. BadCo's having a look down there. Outcast, they'll be talking on TeamSpeak. They platoon a lot, these two, and they really work well together. Outcast has more than likely said, I'll get rid of this 1390. He's only on half health, should be pretty easy, but they really need to look after that artillery. It's only the second shot of the game, but he's put a shot into that Type 51 down the beach, and he's hoping that KV4 is going to light up the Ferdinand, the Type 61 and the two STAs. Unlucky to bounce that Ferdinand. The Ferdinand does have pretty good armour at the front. He switches to gold ammunition because he just wants to get rid of that tank. Claws back the score to 4-6, but they're still down by two tanks, and they need to do something pretty quickly here, because the other side looks like it's failing. Looking at the mini map, BadCo gets that Type 61 down to a one shot, and that Type 61's going to be in a bit of strife there, as BadCo blows his head off. They're clawing the score back, but it's still 5-9, so the team's still in a bit of trouble. BadCo's on half health. Outcast is on about the same, and he's looking for that STA1, the tier 8, which should be easy damage. STA1 and the STA2, they're both tier 8s. I think one's a premium tank, and the Tortoise is joining in the fun. But look at the other side of the map. Look on the 2-3 line. It's even though a lot of those tanks are tier 8s, they're just going to swamp that FV183, and there's really nothing BadCo and Outcast can do from that side of the map. Now BadCo spots their artillery, which looks like he's not even aiming, and you can't not put a shot into him. Very unlucky not to kill him with a one shot. Leaves him on one hit point, and they've got to... Just takes a little bit of time to get rid of him. Now the Tortoise is in trouble. Those two STAs, who I don't believe they're platooning. No, they're not. Those two STAs are giving that Tortoise a hard time, and with their manoeuvrability, even though they're tier 8s and the STA is a tier 9, they'll still be able to flank and get around that Tortoise and really make a meal of him. So the two IS-7s are going back to help the Tortoise, and this is where they start to make a stand and stick together and try and look after each other to whittle away on the enemy tanks. Now, Outcast has picked up a kill, BadCo's picked up 3, and you can see on the damage counter, which is a mod that I use, that BadCo's sitting on about 2,500 damage for the game. But they're still in a bit of trouble with the score being 9-12. So it's 3 tanks versus 6. Very unlucky to bounce that shot onto the IS-3. I think it was gold ammunition. And it looks like his tracks just ate it up. Doing a bit of side scraping. And you'd think that the IS-7 would be better in that situation than the IS-3 being a tier 10. But as I said earlier, they'll be talking on TeamSpeak, these two, and saying, forget about that IS-3, we've got to get this tier 10, get rid of him, as BadCo picks up his 4th kill, brings his damage up close to 3,000 damage. Now looking at the mini-map, the Type 4 still hasn't been spotted, so they don't know where the Type 4 is, but they're looking for that VTU, the tier 8 check tank, is a one-shot for anyone left on the team. There's the STA stuffing around down there near Outcast, which is keeping Outcast lit as well as putting a little bit of damage into him. So BadCo is going to go around to outflank the STA and just get rid of that pesky tank that's it's not the kind of tank that's going to carry a game, but he is lighting them all up for his teammates. Outcast picks up the kill, so it's sitting on 6 kills between them, and brings the score back 11-12. Not so long ago they were 3 versus 6. Now they're 3 versus 4. Now I don't know if I would have stopped right here in the middle of the map with no cover whatsoever, and I think BadCo's just realised that. So he's moving towards where the IS-3 was last spotted to try and use those buildings, and they're going to work together. The Tortoise is sort of sitting there on his own, but they haven't left him alone. When I was watching the replay earlier, you could see that he was aiming to the north, and he had plenty of cover around him. So if that Tortoise can stop them pushing down on him, these two IS-7s can clean up from this side. Again, an lucky bounce onto that IS-3. And they're using normal ammunition, which that's probably all they should be using, because it is only a tier 8. But see, the IS-3's just fired, and here comes that Type 4 heavy. So there's an easy 478 damage into the side of that Type 4 heavy. But Outcast takes a shot, and he's down to a one-shot kill. He's only on 78 hit points. BadCo's on just over 1,000, and you can see that Type 4 is aiming at Outcast. So Outcast is pulling back, and unfortunately the Tortoise gets taken out by that RHM, but the RHM did take some damage from the Tortoise in doing that, which allows BadCo to pick up his 5th kill for the game, and also even the score up. It's 13 apiece. 2 versus 2. It's a tier 8 and a tier 9 versus 2 tier 10s, but the tier 8's now gone, which is probably one of the better players on the enemy side, and BadCo picks up his top gun. That's 6 kills, and you can see he's done over 4,000 damage. And now you can see in the chat, I'm guessing that the enemy team weren't too happy with this Type 4 heavy. Does a bit of face hugging. No use trying to ram him though, because he does have a hell of a good armour. But of course the Type 4 is distracted by Outcast, who's a one shot for him. He wouldn't be able to kill BadCo with one shot. So he goes for the kill, and that lets BadCo pick up his 7th kill, over 4,000 damage, and absolutely carry the game. As we go on to the post-game battle results, you can see BadCo picked up an Ace Tanker Mastery Badge, Hand of God for surviving and winning the battle and getting damage from lots of different enemy tanks. The spotting medal, because he was up the front and spotting all those tanks early on and towards the end of the game, got over 1,000 spotting damage. Bruiser, duelist, fire for effect and shell proof, having the total blocked damage exceed the hit points of his vehicle, which also picked him up the steel wall. High caliber for doing top damage and at least 20% of the enemy's hit points, and a top gun for getting 6 or more kills. You can see on this side of the screen all the tanks that BadCo spotted, damaged and killed. As we look on the second page, an absolute carry by these two by damage. 4,771 to BadCo, just under 4,000 for Outcast, 10 kills between them. That's 2/3 of the enemy side, and that's why BadCo picked up the 1,272 base experience. That's without a premium account or without the multiplier. That's 1,272 experience. Fired 22 shots, 19 hit, 14 went through, which gave him a good amount of damage, blocked a hell of a lot of damage, and spotted 1,300 damage upon detecting spotting damage. 1,326 spotting, or that would have been track damage as well. Outcast also had a good game, just under 4,000 damage, and he blocked 4,620. It's actually more. He actually blocked more than BadCo. Detailed report. He did lose a little bit of credits. Even with his premium account, he lost 1,800 credits, but that's because of that premium ammunition that he was firing. But all in all, a really good game by BadCo and Outcast, two of the great platooners of the MI6 clan, who are always up for a good laugh and a good battle as well. I hope you've enjoyed this replay. Thanks very much to BadCo for sending it to me. Look forward to seeing many more in the future. And it is BadCo's YouTube debut on my channel anyway. This is one of the first videos I've put up of him. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care, and I'll see you all next time.